Got it.
Susan
Thank
at
you for
9:58. You have
participating in today's
9:58.
meeting. If attending in person, please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. If translation is provided, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you're in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby or complete a blue speaker card as available. If you need assistance, please find a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items. Times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. More time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on making a public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-2432. That's 909-396-2432. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you authorize recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
Good morning. I'm going to wait till 10 o'clock because we can't start before then. It's 9:59 at my clock. My digital timer says 10 a.m. So welcome to the hybrid administrative committee meeting of the South Coast Air Quality Management District. It's Friday, February 13th, great lucky day. And I'll ask Cindy to please take the roll. Good morning.
Good morning. Senator Delgado,
I'm here.
Vice Chair McCallan,
Here.
Supervisor Perez,
Here.
and Chair Cacchiotti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. And let's go to item number 1, board member concerns. No motion is required. Any concerns, board members, committee members? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 2. There's no public comment here at the district. Any public comment at your locations? Nope. Okay. Item number 2, chair's report of approved travel. No travel. No public comment, I see. None at this locations. Item 3 on the agenda is report of approved out-of-country travel. Susan? Nothing? No people, no public comment, no hands raised. Item number 4, review the March 6th governing board agenda. Board members, there's a lot on that agenda. I was looking at it. Any questions? I think I might have had a couple. Board members, take a moment to look at it. Any of my colleagues have any questions about the agenda? Former Chair Vanessa Delgado says no. Supervisor Manny Perez says no. Larry, no. Just a couple, Susan, on the Replace Your Ride program. Just making sure we're, as we, I look at the weekly report. I know sometimes there's 30, sometimes 50. How do we ensure that the money is being used correctly? And what's the process? We have a consultant working for us. What's the just very quick if you can, just an overview very fast.
Dr. Katzenstein is heading over to a microphone right now.
Great. And as you're coming there and maybe just some of the outreach you do and how that operates. It's a good program, just curious.
Yeah, hi, Chair. As you know, it's a very popular program. We have several thousand applicants in the queue right now.
Wow.
It's rather a tedious process. There's paperwork required of each individual, income, submittal requirements, documentation that includes ID. And then we also have to do inspections on the vehicles that will be scrapped before they purchase a new vehicle.
Who does the inspection for us?
Sometimes we have staff do it, and we also have consultants helping with this program.
Okay. Thanks, Aaron. There was another item on here, Susan, about a estimator for the Capcoa. I read and was just curious what that was.
Oh, that's, yeah, Kelly Mod.
With
Yeah.
DOT?
Yeah, it's a software program called CaliMod, and cities and counties use it to estimate emissions for CEQA documents. And so we got a grant from Caltrans for Capcoa to basically make a lot of the enhancements and updates to CaliMod. So it's really much more of a pass-through of money that we're working with Capcoa.
Okay, great. It's a good grant. Thank you. Motion? No motion on that required. Fine. We'll move to item number. Is there any public comment?
Chair, I just wanted to mention
Yep.
for the agenda that, for the March board meeting, that
Yeah.
we will have the mini showcase, technology showcase,
Great.
out in the parking lot, for the March board meeting.
What are the times so I can tell them, oh, I'm going to send something out to all my public work staff and stuff like that, maybe. What time is it going to be? Do we know?
It'll be just before the board meeting starts, and then, it'll be there, after the board meeting and during the board meeting.
Okay, and we'll have time to go out and look at it.
Absolutely.
And what specifically, heavy duty trucks, medium duty trucks, et cetera? Aaron, just give us a preview if you can. Because when I go to the COG meeting, I want to tell our members what's going to
Hi,
be.
Chair. Yeah, just a little correction from what Susan mentioned. We're planning really to have the main event from 10:30 to 1 p.m.
Okay.
Just so when the board is over, we can have everyone go outside and take a look at it, and we don't have to have the technology participants hang around too long out there. We're right now looking at kind of some of the same vendors from last year. So Lawn and Garden will have the monitoring vehicles that we have for the monitoring analysis division. And then we're looking at maybe putting a focus on municipality vehicles like street sweepers, if we can get a refuse truck. So some of those larger equipment would be there. And then we're hoping to have a drone company come out, or our drone be present, and just to show that type of technology.
Aaron, is it possible when you say municipality, that's important for, I know Larry, we don't contract out most services we have in-house. We have a lot of vehicle fleet. And I happened to walk through our public works area last couple of days ago with my dogs. I saw a lot of F-250s, F-350s, F-450s, medium duty, Larry, I don't know, class 4, 5, 6, even some off-road construction equipment, small stuff. But I know we're going to be looking at turning over a lot of our fleet in the next couple of years. And I remember with staff, we are just going through this, well, we're not sure that it fits the duty cycle for us. We're just going to go to diesel. So I don't think that's accurate. So can you have more of those out there? Because I tell you, a lot of the public works staff still thinking the old way that we're just going to go get diesel. Is that possible, Aaron? Or do we have some programs out there, demo programs at all?
Yeah, in fact, that's a good point. So we'll ask one of our technology partners for the F-350, I believe, that we have
Yeah.
a project with them, see if they can bring that out.
A lot 250s, 350s, 450s I saw.
Right. Yeah, that whole gamut of that class is kind
Yeah.
of the same chassis, from my understanding. So we'll see if we can get a couple well, we'll work on the one that we worked on
Okay.
for the technology advancement office. And then if there's anything else that you'd like to see, please let us know as soon as possible, because we can reach out right now and try to get those types of vehicles out there.
Do we still have with the Volvo? I remember we had a demonstration at UCLA 4 or 5 years ago because I met the head of DOT out there. They had some off-road construction equipment.
Yeah, we're going to bring in the off-road construction, but the problem is we're competing with a big conference, ConAgra, in Las Vegas right now during the same time. So some of the equipment that we've helped develop with Volvo and others is going to be at that convention.
Okay. Board members, any questions or comments?
Just comment, I know right now we're in the process of replacing our fleet in our city, and we're looking at several of those zero emission vehicles.
When you say fleet, would that be your public works, Larry, or just
Public
right?
Works.
Okay. Great. And are those vehicles, are they battery? Are they hydrogen fuel cell? I'm just curious, what are they, Aaron? What you're talking about?
Right now, we mostly have battery examples. We do have in the development demonstration phase some of the fuel cell examples. I'm not sure we'll be able to bring those out right now. But yeah, definitely the battery side right now would be more weighting towards the battery side.
And Aaron, if you're not able to bring an exact replica or something, or they're at a conference, if you can maybe have some information about it, in case some of the public works people or staff says, oh, that's all you have? No, we also have this going on. That'd be great.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to, and then with no public comment at your locations? Nope. Okay, great. Approval of compensation for board member assistants. Entertain a motion. There's several on there.
So move.
I'll second that.
Moved by Supervisor Perez, seconded by Board Member Vanessa Delgado. Okay, is there any comment?
There's a hand raised
Where?
online.
Okay,
It says Harvey Etter.
thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Harvey, go ahead, please. You've got 3 minutes.
Yes, good morning. Am I being heard?
Yes, Harvey, welcome.
Thank you. My name's Harvey Etter. I'm the founder, director of the Public Solar Power Coalition, been around 45 years, okay? At the legislative meeting, I just talked about alcohol fuels and that that Trump was in Iowa last week. He needs votes in the primary start there, and the farmers are hurting, and they're pushing corn to alcohol, E815, and that's something he's supporting. It turns out that you get half the greenhouse gases with alcohol. There's E85 and 90% plus of PM reduction. Okay, I want to know that alcohol is going to be shown at this technology thing, Dr. K, Aaron, and also we worked 8-10 years ago with BYD, and they told us they were manufacturing electric buses in Palmdale, all right? And they were doing like 1,500 a year. They said they can make 5,000 big trucks a year. Okay, we work with them, and we're going to do that. Now, all of a sudden, the state turned on BYD. BYD has taken over the market for the world on electric vehicles. I want to make sure, for some reason, I would like to hear Aaron state why we ran them out of the state. and now they've taken over the market. Let's make sure BYD's there. Also in China, Qi, I'm incorporating by reference the issue of The Economist from the end of January to the 6th of this month. On page 10, it's about a coup in China, okay? There's a one-pager on there, and they say it's as significant when Mao had an opponent in 71, and he died in a plane crash, okay? And so instead of fighting with them, let's do business with them, all right? I want to know that BYD is going to be at this meeting on the demonstration, next month, etc. And also that we get into alcohol fuels and also the production and distribution, and that goes also to the need for trees. Instead of doing carbon capture and sequestration, which is a crutch to fossil fuels, and they want to place to the table rather than phasing them out, we can do solar, renewables, and Trump's on board with this. He doesn't. This is solar. I'm sorry. With all the bad mouthing and for the endangerment finding and all this other crap that's going on, let's try to do something positive and let's go into the past and try to correct our mistakes. So Aaron, why in the hell did we criticize BYD? This is 8 years ago. And can we get them back in? And also alcohol, please, can you address that?
Harvey, this is just public comment. Thank you. Thank you, Harvey, for your comments. We'll take that under consideration. You were commenting item number 4. So item number 5, was there a motion in a second?
Yes, Perez motion, Delgado second, and Senator Delgado?
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman absent. Vice Chair McCallan?
Yes,
Supervisor Perez?
Yes.
Chair Cacchiotti?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Cindy. Item number 6, update on South Coast AQMD's internal community engagement activities. Dr. Anessa Hurd Johnson, DEO, Community Engagement Air Programs. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here to share with you all what we did last month for our justice, equity, development initiatives. Next slide, please. As it is Friday, and many of you all may be aware of Majora Carter. She's a nationally recognized leader in environmental justice, and she really redefined the movement to include economic opportunity, public health, and community well-being at the intersection of environmental justice. She led pioneering efforts to address air quality, but also green infrastructure and environmental health disparities in historically overburdened urban communities, which is very much so our AB 617. Personally, I'm just super excited to kind of say her name. She's a role model for me. She was one of the very first people who looked like me, who cared about the environment. There are many times in which we talk about social injustice and police and so forth, but she was talking about air quality. She was talking about environmental justice. And so I just always have a soft spot. So excited to elevate her on our Fabulous Female Friday this month. Next slide, please. This past month, we met with all of our colleagues who work on community engagement across the state. And so you'll see here from the attendees, we had representatives from Bay Area, from CARB, Santa Barbara, South Coast, and then also the water boards. And the purpose of these meetings are really to collaborate, develop innovative strategies, share best practices, and really strengthen our statewide efforts. Different agencies shared their updates on staff training, internal engagement and training programs, data information, and just really community engagement and initiatives. And so they really emphasize the value of being together in space. And I'll be very excited to share with you next month. We're having a statewide meeting of all of us, 2 locations, one here and one in Sacramento next month. So we're excited to do that in person. Next slide, please. We had our employee resource group at the beginning of the year. People tend to want to start new habits and so forth. And so, yes, we are a little bit kind of on the, I'll admit it, nerdy side. And so because we were looking at infinity groups, we called it To Affinity and Beyond. Yes, you all, there's no laughter inside the group, the room. We liked it. And so it was an opportunity for our employee resource groups to get together and talk to each other, but also to really develop some groups based on not identity, but just habit and hobbies. And so a couple of those that came up were a knitting and crocheting group, a cultural recipes group. Somebody wants to do a sports group, and also a lactating moms group. But we had about 122 staff, employees attend this event, and we look forward to giving you updates on these moving forward. Next slide, please. And I would just say staff are really indicating wanting a brevity because there's so many heavy things that are going on. They're really trying to reclaim joy where they can. So there was a lot of interest in that. Just was in January, our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. display to honor his birthday. And so we had different books and art from our SEEP library. Next slide. And then here were the infographics that we used, that we shared this past month with our employees. And again, staff are letting us know not only are they reading this information, but they're sharing it with family and friends. They're passing it on to other folks who are not of the agency. So we're very pleased that that's landing really well with them. And so we had one that was Human Rights Day and then Martin Luther King Day for 2026. And next slide. Oh, that's it for me.
Dr. Hurd Johnson, great presentation as always. Senator, Supervisor, any questions or comments? Vice Chair? Great job, great work. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Ron Moskowitz on our next item. Just an update status report, major ongoing upcoming projects for information management. Ron, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. Information Management is pleased to report the successful deployment of the 1099 update for tax year 2025. This year's update had a broader impact on the system due to a complex set of rule changes. Information management staff worked closely with Sujata's team, our finance team, to set up a test environment and perform full integration testing prior to deployment, deploying the changes into production, ensuring that the 1099 forms were successfully processed this year. We also successfully upgraded our network firewall this month. This initiative strengthens the agency's overall security posture and improves system performance across both on-premise and cloud environments. The upgrade was completed with minimal operational impact, and all systems are functioning as expected. And finally, we're pleased to report the successful completion of a major upgrade to the on-base storage architecture. This upgrade reduces risk and improves recovery performance. This new distribution approach reduces backup and restoration times by more than 50%, eliminating single points of failure, and significantly improves fault tolerance and also overall system performance. Everything else is going fine, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Senator, Supervisor, any questions? No. Vice Chair? Any hands raised online? Anybody here want to make public comment? Cindy says no, nobody here. Ron, great job. Tell your team thank you. Sujata, Chief Financial Officer. Next item, South Coast's AQMD's fiscal year 25-26 second quarter ended December 31st, 2025 budget versus actual. Sujata, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Sujata Jain, Chief Financial Officer. Next slide, please. This presentation is the budget versus actual results for the second quarter of fiscal year 25-26 that ended on December 31st, 2025. First, we have a slide on the general fund budget summary. Then we have revenue and expenditures, detail and comparisons to the prior year. And we have a slide on use of fund balance. And then finally, a slide on the 5-year projection. Next slide, please. So our adopted budget for fiscal year 25-26 was $215.4 million in revenue and $219.6 million in expenditures. We had some amendments, and the second quarter ended with revenues coming in at $112.8 million. In revenues and expenditures were $101.9 million. And in the next couple slides, you'll see a little bit more detail on both the revenue and expenditures. And at this point, we can say that we project that the year will end pretty much at budget. Our vacancy rate is at 13% right now, and that was our budgeted vacancy. Next slide, please. So this is a slide on our on our revenue. And if you look at the bottom line, they're very much trending as the second quarter should if you compare it to last year. So, but within each of the revenue categories, there could be some slight differences. The top 3 categories are our stationary sources, and they're tending pretty much exactly as last year. So pretty much on par with that. Mobile source and transportation, sometimes there are slight differences depending on grant reimbursements that we get from the activity that goes on where we can reimburse ourselves in the general fund. The other category, the budgeted amount for fiscal year 25-26 was higher than last year. So it's looking a little bit lower in percentage compared to last year. And then area sources will collect that as we end the fiscal year. And transfers in generally are different from year to year. Next slide, please. And the expenditures, there's no surprise over here at all. As you can see, bottom line, we are at what the second quarter should look like. And even within the categories, except for capital outlays, which we can purchase either more towards the beginning of the year or end of the year. But at the second quarter mark, this year's is a little bit higher. Next slide, please. And this is actually not the use of fund balance. It is really, we had a board letter in October where we recognized the revenue for Rule 1180 because we had held back when we were adopting the budget because we needed to talk a little bit more with stakeholders, and that was kind of ironed out. And there was a board letter that went to the board in October, and we then went ahead and put in those invoices for those refineries for Rule 1180. So we're just showing that, we are recognizing the revenue and it's affecting the fund balance in a positive way. Next slide, please. And so this is our final slide, and it is on 5-year projection. And just a reminder, the vacancy rate for the budget was 13%, and we're at that. The CPI that we increase our stationary source revenue by has been projected out at about 2.6%. We don't know the official CPI. It'll come out in the next week or two. And based on that, we will true up our revenues for the next budget that we are preparing, which is fiscal year 26-27. And accordingly, we'll use that to project out in the next budget versus actual presentation. And then our fund balance, as you can see, is pretty much above the 20%, which is the governing board's policy, except in the 5th year. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
Committee members, any questions for Sujata? Larry says no. Senator, Supervisor? Nope, I don't have any either. Good, great job. No motion required. Sujata, you've got the next item. Item number 9, execute contract for independent audit services, fiscal years ending 26, 27, and 28. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. So this item is to report to the committee the results of the RFP that was issued for financial audit services for the next 3 years. We received 4 proposals, and all 4 firms were qualified. And today they've been invited to provide a short presentation to the admin committee for the committee members to make their selection. So the first audit firm, the first presenter is going to be Mr. Joseph Musa. He's the partner with the audit firm of Simpson & Simpson. Go ahead, Joe.
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me well. Thank you very much, committee members, for having us, and very much appreciate being able to represent our firm in this current bid. So again, as the Sujata stated, my name is Joe Musa, audit partner with Simpson & Simpson LLP. We're currently celebrating 50 years of serving the government industry in the audit capacity. Talk a little bit about what we're looking to provide the Air District in terms of audit services. There are 2 main prongs, which is the financial statement audit and the federal compliance audit. This is very much in our wheelhouse in terms of experience. We've provided these services to other larger government entities in our history. Just to name a few, City of Los Angeles. We've also conducted these audits for the Los Angeles Unified School District, one of the largest school districts in the country. We've also conducted these audits with the County of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority. In addition to that, we have very good Air District experience. We are the current independent auditors for the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. We've been serving as their auditors since 2017. We currently provide them with financial and performance audit work over their Transportation Fund for Clean Air, or what they consider the TFCA, very similar to the district's AB 2766 audits. We also provide them with financial statement audits and a federal compliance audit on an annual basis, which is very similar to what the Air District is currently seeking. We also have experience with South Coast as well. We did serve in the capacity of the Air District's financial statement auditors and federal compliance auditors for 10 years and prior years. And we currently serve as the auditors over the AB 2766 funds, where we provide financial and performance and compliance audit work as well. One of the important things that the Air District publishes on an annual basis is the annual comprehensive financial report. This is a massive report, and the undertaking is very important, and it provides a very high level of financial reporting for any government entity. Not all governments do this, which is indicative of how difficult it is to publish one of these. We have very strong experience in publishing ACFRs. We're currently doing so for the Los Angeles Unified School District and have done so in prior years. And we've also conducted the ACFR audits as well for the City of Los Angeles. So we have the experience in order to be able to publish this massive publication. In terms of our personnel, all of our high-level personnel are certified public accountants. I would be serving as the engagement partner on the job. I currently have 19 years of audit experience in the government sector. Our quality control review partner will be Grace Yoon, which I believe is very well known within the Air District. She currently serves as the partner over the AB 2766 funds, and she will be serving as the quality control review partner over this engagement. We also have very strong IT related audit experience. We have Robert Fleming, who has 33 years of experience in the government industry. This is, of course, very important for us to be able to audit the various IT related functions and systems that play a critical role in financial reporting. And we also have Lita Hendronada, who brings to us 19 years of experience in government sector. She'll be serving as our senior audit manager. As you'll see from our bid, based on our budget, we currently are budgeting about 166 hours for partner time. This is very important for me. The way that I conduct my audits is I believe it's important for me to be heavily involved months before the audit starts, months after the audit is done. There's so many changes and various pronouncements in which the Air District has to implement. Currently, the Air District is implementing some of the more high technical level related accounting pronouncements, and there are more coming down the pipeline. So ultimately, the way that I like to work is I like to be very involved in the audit. I like to be very involved in conversations before and ahead of time, and also to be available. And that brings us to the overall firm commitment that we provide the Air District is unlimited access to our staff, including myself. Again, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that are very important for any government entity is being very prepared for the audit and very prepared for changes that occur in the accounting standards, which happen on an annual basis. So being able to reach out to us in advance, pick our brains, and also understand our understanding of various pronouncements, and then really being able to work together as the Air District implements that is going to be very critical in ensuring that we finish the audit on time and that the audit is efficient and also accurate. So with that being said, again, thank you very much for allowing us to come and present, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions the administrative committee may have.
Before we ask questions, any comments, Sujata?
No, Chair, I don't have any questions.
Okay, we've developed a group of 4 questions for, if we can, keep this uniform so we can assess everybody equally. So I'll kick it off, and then each member of the committee, Larry, there's 4 of us, can ask one of the 4 questions. And I'll kick it off as number 1. So, Mr. Musa, the question we have, we'll ask all is, how will you ensure the successful completion of the financial audit on time, on budget? You described a number of other entities which you're performing work for or have, which is incredible. But how you, with all this juggling of many items, your firm, how will you ensure that you can do this successful completion and on time and on budget? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. So firstly, what's important is for us to set up a very clear calendar and timeline of expectations. That's something that we implement with every single one of our clients. Especially with the size of the Air District, our goal is to get in there very early, not just within the last few months of the audit, but to get in there early in the calendar year so that we could begin what we call interim testing. It's our way of testing in advance so that when we close the books and get to year end, it's a very smooth process. In addition to that, in terms of juggling various clients, I think every CPA firm is doing that. Our goal and our staff level is very experienced in government audits, so we're going to have a lot of experience, and our staff is going to have a lot of Air District experience as well. We don't miss deadlines. That's a big no-no. We do not come back to our clients asking for more money unless there is a big revamping of our scope of work. But that has nothing to do with the amount of hours. If we need to put in more hours than budgeted, that's what we're going to need to do without going back and asking for more money. So that's not something that we do. So we're going to build a very strong schedule. We're going to meet with Sujata and her team well in advance of the audit. We're going to establish expectations, set deadlines, and we're going to meet with them on a weekly basis to make sure that we're on track, to get their feedback from us in terms of our progress, and also to provide them with feedback in terms of progress. So we're always talking about timeline, ensuring that the audit is done on a timely manner.
Thank you, Joseph. Who'd like to go next? Committee members, Larry? Okay.
Thank you very much. What do you see as the most significant area of risk for the district, and how would you plan to address that risk?
Thank you very much for that question. So one of the main risks for many of the air districts and many governments is your long-term liabilities. Looking at your pension, looking at your OPEB, looking at your long-term debt, making sure that those are properly stated. When it comes to your pension and your OPEB, there's a lot of involvement from your actuaries and third parties. So our responsibility is to review those reports that they publish and to make a determination that their assumptions are reasonable, that they're not overstating assumptions, or not understating them. We want to make sure that your liabilities are properly stated. Liabilities drive, of course, driving the air district's current negative net position in your unrestricted bucket. So making sure, and one of the main reasons why that exists is as a result of your long-term liabilities. So we believe that there are a lot of work we need to do in that area, which we will do in terms of validating the reasonableness of the assumptions that are used to come up with the value of those liabilities on an annual basis.
Thank you.
Supervisor Senator, who wants to go next?
Oh, I'll go. So we receive many state and federal grants.
Yes.
Do you have any strategies on how to make sure those are completely done in a timely manner? And
Yeah,
thank you for your
absolutely.
time this morning.
Of course, I really appreciate that question. So that's going to fall, especially with your federal grants. That's going to fall in the realm of our federal compliance audit, or what's called the A133 single audit. So on an annual basis, we take a look at all of your federal grants, and every single year we select a number of those grants, and those grants change every year, which is good. So there's a rotating basis on how we select your federal grants. There are a number of procedures that we perform. Those are in accordance with uniform guidance. And we look at those grants on an annual basis to make sure that number one, you're spending money in accordance with the guidelines of the program. Number two, you're providing reporting in accordance to the grant agreement and various statutes. And then number three, that the program has very strong internal control. And internal control is not just with regards to your federal compliance audits. We're also looking at the entity's internal control in our financial statement audit. So let's say we come across an instance where we believe there needs to be improvements in internal control. Certainly, a lack of controls could potentially lead to non-compliance down the road, right? So it's very important for us to bring those up on a timely basis. So that overall audit approach is what's going to make sure that the air district is in line with the various standards and requirements for your federal programs.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the last question. You might have answered some of this already, but what do you see as the most significant area of risk for the district? And how do you plan to address that risk, the most significant risk?
Yes, I appreciate that question. So the various revenue streams I believe that the Air District receives is also very similar to what we've audited with the Bay Area. Making sure that we can validate the accuracy of revenue reporting is critical. A number of the funds that the Air District receives come from various grants, actually most of which come from grants, some of which come from various fees that you assess to the community. So making sure, number one, that you have a very good, strong system of calculating those revenues and issuing bills. That's going to come in our IT audit. So that's going to be very important in determining accuracy, providing confirmations to your grantors to confirm the accuracy of the revenue that you're receiving, and also performing testing over cash and bank reconciliation to ensure that the Air District is depositing that money, accounting for it correctly. Those are going to be areas in which we can provide a very high level of assurance that the revenue being reported on your books is accurate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. That concludes the first applicant.
All right, our next presenter is Ryan Domino, a partner from the audit firm of LSL.
Hello, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
You can, Ryan. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for the invitation to present my firm's qualifications and to talk a little bit about what our audit process is and how we could be of service to the district. I put together a brief presentation, so I'm not. I guess I'll just let you know when to go to the next slide. So, if we could go ahead and move on, please. Thank you. So just a little bit about the audit team that we're proposing to work on your audit for the upcoming audit contract would be myself. So my name is, again, Ryan Domino. I'm one of the partners with LSL's Government Audit Division. I've been with LSL now for about 14 years, and over those 14 years, I've worked pretty much exclusively with local government. That is my area of expertise. Additionally, I did serve 1 year under the last contract as AQMD's audit partner. So going into the new contract, I would continue that role and bring a level of knowledge and experience, understanding the district, and then relaying that information onto my team as well. My concurring or quality control partner would be Christian Towns. She brings also about 14 years of experience to the auditing local governments. She's very technical oriented. The both of us are GFOA technical reviewers, providing commentary to governments throughout the country on their ACFR documents and providing feedback for the award and excellence in financial reporting. And then finally, my other two team members would be Chloe Zabreck, one of our CPAs and audit managers. She served with me last year auditing the district, and she would be responsible for really the day-to-day oversight and staff management, making sure the project is moving, meeting deadlines, that sort of thing. And then Candy Loesa, she would be the in charge on the audit, and she brings about 7 years of experience. So we've put together a very experienced team. Some of us have worked with the district in the past and have that institutional knowledge. And then we brought in a couple of new people as well to get a fresh set of eyes on the district's financial statements. We can go to the next slide, please. So just a little bit about our firm. We've been in business a very long time. We're coming up on our 100th anniversary, having been established in 1929. And audits of local government really have been the cornerstone of our business for essentially that entire time period. Currently, we work with approximately 100 different local governments, primarily in California, but across the country as well. And of those 100 different governments, about 60 of them are audit clients, where we do audits of their financial statements and single audits over their federal award programs for the majority of those 60. We've been growing tremendously over the last 10 years, especially. When I started with LSL, we were a small one-office firm with 6 partners, and we've grown to 15 partners and 4 principals in the last 10 years, and we have over 165 employees with 4 offices. So we're very proud of the growth that we've had over that time period, and what that really provides to our clients is big firm resources. But even though we've grown tremendously, we still have that small firm feel, and we try to be approachable and provide that personalized customer service to all of our clients. Can you go to the next slide, please? Oh, I always like to talk a little bit about our core values and some awards that we've won. I feel like, something that separates all of us CPAs apart is our core values. And one thing that I believe is special about our core values is this is not something that the partners at LSL put together and are like forcing down on our employees. This is something that we all got together about 7 or 8 years ago as a firm. Everyone from our first year staff all the way up to the partners, we got together and we came up with, this is who defines us. This is who we are. In all the work we do, we pursue excellence. We try to make sure that all of our jobs are done in the highest level of quality, making sure that the documents are done, are provided to our clients are accurate, correct. They look nice, even from an appearance standpoint. And you're not going to pursue excellence unless you love what you do. So we try to bring on people that love public accounting. They're passionate about it, passionate about helping clients improve and be the best organizations that they can be. And then, CPAs, it's very important for us to be leaders with integrity. We serve the public interest primarily. And if the public can't trust the CPA to be doing a quality work in an objective and independent manner, then we've completely failed in that task. So integrity is something that we hold very dear and drill into all of our people, that even if it takes an additional 50 hours on the audit, make sure we're doing the right thing. Finally, we see ourselves really as a team with our clients. We see ourselves as accomplishing more together. I know a lot of auditors have a little bit of a bad reputation of being the the police, if you will, or out to get the auditee with some findings or something like that. We really see ourselves more as partners with our clients along the journey of improving and being accountable and transparent to the stakeholders. And so, although we try to be, we're always objective, we're always independent, but we also try to provide constructive feedback that helps improve the process along the way, even above and beyond the normal scope of the audit. And finally, we're forward thinking. If you're not changing, if you're not evolving your process with the changes in technology and all that happening so fast now, you're stagnating. So we're always evaluating technology as we're going through the process. We're evaluating our processes annually to make sure that we are really on the cutting edge of the products that we use to conduct our audit and the processes of doing it. So just a couple of awards that we're super proud of. I just want to highlight is that we've been recognized as one of the regional leaders by Accounting Today for 2 years in a row now, and we have won the Best of Accounting Award through a independent survey that's sent to all of our clients for 7 years in a row, with 2026 having just been awarded to us recently. Next slide, please. So similar to, I'm sure, many of the other fine CPAs that are on this call, our audit is similarly broken down into an interim and a year-end phase, very consistently trying to understand the processes and the controls that are in place at interim, and then hopefully reducing the amount of work done at year-end to ensure that the product is delivered in a timely manner and that the audit is completed without a hitch. So what I'd rather spend my time here is just talking about what we consider the keys to successful audit. And really it comes down to 3 things. It's planning, it's communication, and it's teamwork. We're very big on planning ahead. An example of this is we provide our requests to our clients with sufficient lead time. So that way, when we reach that agreed upon schedule date, when we're expected to start the audit, everything's ready for us and we can hit the ground running on that first day to help us ensure we're meeting those deadlines. Talking throughout the year with our clients, gaining an understanding of what's happening throughout the year really alleviates a lot of the surprises, if you will, when we do the final audit. So we always want to go into our audits with our eyes wide open, aware of what's happening, and having planned accordingly. We communicate. Communication is key in any relationship, especially in an auditor-auditee relationship. We want to make sure that we are talking to our clients throughout the year, getting an understanding of what's happening, providing feedback on changes in accounting standards that are coming out, as well as just advising about maybe some complex journal entries so that way when we get to the year end and everything's been talked about, there's no audit adjustments because we've already kind of pre-audited it just by talking it through and making sure it was booked correctly the first time. During our audit, we communicate daily. We have a requirement that our staff are providing status updates to our clients on a daily basis, so the client is always aware of where they stand in the audit process, what still needs to be done, and the expected time frame to complete it. We have entrance and exit meetings at the beginning and the conclusion of the audit to go over not only the plan, but also the result. And really, they're just summaries. If we walk into an exit meeting and there's a finding that has not been discussed previously, then we failed in the communication aspect. And so that is something we never do. If there's a finding, it's always been pre-discussed, and our exit conferences are just summaries of what's been done. And then finally, like I mentioned, as teamwork is critical. The GASBs are not getting simpler. There's always new and more complex GASBs coming out. In particular, this year we have GASB Statement 103, which is going to change the financial reporting model. So, us just partnering with our clients, partnering with AQMD, if we were selected to go forward, just to make sure that these new GASB implementations go well, that we're advising throughout the process, and that the district continues to report on it correctly. And then the other key thing of teamwork is really accountability, just making sure that AQMD is holding us accountable for meeting our deadlines, but also it's a two-way street to be successful. Is communication of what we need from AQMD by certain deadlines, just to make sure that we're both holding each other accountable to meeting all those requirements. Final slide, please. So I appreciate, again, the opportunity to present a little bit about the firm, and very hopeful that we'll get to continue working with you into the next audit contract. But in closing, why is LSL right for the district? And I think it really just comes down to the fact that we are an accessible, we're a communicative team throughout the year, not just during the audit process. We provide regular trainings and seminars to all of our clients on a various number of topics, including governmental accounting, financial reporting, internal controls, and GASB updates. And then our commitment to South Coast AQMD to enhance the organization, to make it as transparent and accountable to the stakeholders, throughout the year and throughout the audit process. So that's my presentation. Thank you again, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Ryan, thank you. You've really answered a lot of our questions or touched on them. So when we ask you, you can be very brief.
Sure.
So I'll kick it off again. And again, the question is, how will you ensure, and you've touched on it, but so just kind of elaborate a little bit, how you ensure the successful completion of the audit on time? And again, a lot of us work Larry, we're all mayors, local areas. I think we've worked with your firm at our city in South Pasadena over the years, other firms too that are on this. How are you going to juggle all those different clients and make sure you're done on time?
Absolutely. So very briefly, we have a process of level loading and scheduling to make sure that no one manager or partner is overloaded with work, that the work is evenly distributed, and so that way each one of our clients receives the attention that they deserve. And then, like I mentioned in the presentation, it comes down to communication. So in order to meet those deadlines, we understand when the ACFR and the single audit reports are going to get presented to the board and the committees. And then we work backwards, setting milestones from that time period that are documented in writing, that my team has, that Sujata's team would have. And then we just hold each other accountable to meeting those deadlines. And then if something gets missed on one side or another, we do our best to make up the time. And if that's not possible, just communication. Meeting deadlines is a big deal for us. We are hold our staff accountable to it. They are, graded for their compensation based on meeting deadlines. So that's would be my answer to that question.
Thank you. We'll go to Senator Delgado.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us today. So my question is around all of our many state and federal grants. How do you audit those to make sure they can be done in a timely manner?
Yeah, absolutely. So in years past, and what we would continue to do going forward is we conduct the audit of the federal award programs at the same time as the district's financial audit. There's no requirement to do that, but we do it at the same time, just so that way all the reports issue at once. And so we have an integrated process by which when we're auditing the revenue section, we're ensuring that all those grants that we identify as part of that are included in the federal schedule of expenditure of federal awards. So that way we are already aware that nothing is missing from that. And then we try to develop procedures as we're going through the audit process, perhaps testing purchases made with federal funding, really integrating it into the other areas of testing to make sure that we're being efficient about it and can issue both of these reports at the same time. The district does receive a large amount of federal funding, and so that is a major area of focus for us. And so we have procedures that we've developed over the past couple of years to ensure that it's complete, it's correct, and that we're identifying those programs quickly that need to be tested as part of the single audit.
Thank you.
I'll jump in very quickly here. What do you see as the most significant area of risk for the district, and how do you plan to address that risk?
Yeah, so the most significant area of risk that I see for the district is actually the federal revenue sources. They often have complex revenue recognition requirements on when they can be either recognized as revenue or if they need to be deferred until certain criteria are met. So what we would do to respond to that is really, like I mentioned previously, identify those sources of federal revenue. For the significant and material ones, perform revenue testing over that to make sure that all the requirements that are often associated with recognizing the revenue for these programs have been met and that it is properly being recognized as revenue. And if those requirements have not been met yet, that it's being properly deferred until the time when they are eligible to be recognized.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Vice Chair?
So what do you see as the biggest challenge for auditing the air district such as AQMD?
Yeah, so it would be a similar question. I mean, the grants are always a challenge, but if you're looking at a separate area, often the biggest challenge is the auditing estimates. The most significant estimate is the pension liability. So there are procedures that we do to verify that the information that is being provided to CalPERS and the actuaries for the various pension and other post-employment liabilities, making sure that that underlying data is correct, it's accurate, that they're getting the right data with which to make those estimates. We also perform procedures to evaluate their competencies to make sure that we have no concerns about the calculations that are provided. So the pension liability continues to grow, and that's going to be a challenge for most governments going forward. And so we would see that as another area outside of the federal awards that is a challenge for the district.
It's also a challenge for our cities. Thank you, Ryan.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ryan. Next.
Next, we have engagement partner, Ahmad Badawi from the audit firm of Badawi and Associates.
Good morning. Thank you for
morning.
Thank you for inviting me to the meeting. We definitely appreciate the opportunity to present our firm. If we can go to the next slide. Will give you a brief overview of our firm by the numbers. I am the president and founder of the firm. I spent most of my career in municipal government audits, about over 25 years. We are a highly specialized firm. We only audit municipal governments. We currently have over 65 audit clients. 21 of them are special districts. We have over 30 employees and so far 0 lawsuits, legal or disciplinary actions against the firm. If we can go to the next slide, please. This is how we envision our engagement team. I am the engagement partner. And as I mentioned, I have over 25 years of experience in auditing municipal government. I served as partner in several firms, also national firms, before spinning off and founding our firm. I'm a member of the Cal CPA Government Accounting and Auditing Committee, which is a very active committee issuing white papers and providing guidance on accounting and auditing matters relating to government. Our quality control reviewer, Mitesh Desai, have over 18 years of experience. He is a partner with the firm. He is a special reviewer of the GFOA Special Review Committee. And he's also certified by the AICPA to conduct single audit at a more advanced level. Our audit manager would be Salah Yassin. He is about 10 years of experience, licensed CPA. Most of the 10 years are conducting municipal audits. We always have an IT specialist. Our IT specialist has spent most of his career doing IT audits for KPMG before founding his own firm, and he partnered with us on our audits. He provides some very important input and feedback on the accounting software, the controls embedded into those software, and whether they were properly designed or not, and also on data security. Our audit senior, Samantha Michelle, she's also a CPA. She's actually an audit manager with our firm, but she will be acting in a senior capacity in this engagement. And we anticipate to have 2 professional staff also assigned to the engagement. If we can go on to the next slide, please. As previous firms mentioned, the audit is not done all in one time. It is actually spread throughout the year. We definitely believe very strongly in planning, and planning starts very early in the year, really involving the partner, the manager, and the client management, focusing on gathering information, especially for a first-year audit, about what were the areas of challenges in the previous audit, reviewing the financial statements from the prior year, and providing recommendations for improvements early on, gathering information about any changes, either new debt, new changes in accounting systems, any changes in structure and personnel, anything that we can utilize to better plan the audit. We actually utilize a project management platform that we invite our clients to be collaborators, and we lay out the audit plan from the very beginning. When is the interim is going to be done? When is the year end? And also the reporting. When will be the first draft, the second draft, final issuance? And everyone have visibility throughout the year about those targets, those goals. And I'll talk more about that. But this is all set up in the planning phase. The next phase is the interim phase, and we really spend a lot of our resources in that phase. The main objective is to obtain an understanding of the district operating environment, controls, processes, to help us perform our risk assessment and design our audit plan. But we always try to get ahead during that phase. We try to get started with some of the compliance audits, especially the single audit, looking at preliminary numbers to see if we can easily determine which programs will need to be tested and get started on those. We do testing of revenues, expenses, expenditures, census data for pension and OPEB. We try to get a head start as much as we can during that interim phase to minimize the load in the next phases. The next phase is the year-end phase. This normally occurs after the district closes its books and provide us with the final numbers for us to audit. This phase is really focused on executing the audit plan, validating the account balances, confirming different account balances, doing our analytical procedures, making sure that all the numbers can be properly supported with audit evidence. And then finally, the reporting phase, and this is preparing the draft of the financial statements, providing those drafts for review until issuance. This reporting phase really starts very early on with the planning phase, where we have an entire department in our firm that actually set up those financial statements, set up the grouping, the linking. So when the audit starts, the financials are really ready to drop the numbers in them. So if we can go on to the next phase, please, to the next slide. What makes us different? I mentioned that I was a partner with multiple firms before. My previous firm had over a few thousand employees and a few hundred partners, and I was one of the partners. And I learned a lot from that experience, but I also saw the bureaucracy sometimes of some of the larger firms. So when we spun off and started our own firm, we wanted to bring that large firm experience, but with a more personalized approach. That really meant to our clients that you get same level, if not higher level of competence, unmatched partner involvement. We are a very hands-on partner. We participate in all aspects of the audit, from the planning to participating in interviews with district staff, to designing the audit procedures, overseeing the audit plan, making sure that the audit plan is being carried timely, to reviewing the work papers, reviewing the financial statements, presenting the audit. So we're very, very actively involved in the process. You also get responsiveness. We have a policy that every member of the firm have 24 hours to respond to the client. It doesn't matter if we know the answer or not, but you will hear from us acknowledging your communication, letting you know that we are working on it and we will get back to you. Personal investment at all levels. We really focus on all levels of the firm. We believe that this is a team project, that every member has to be well-trained and prepared to conduct their responsibilities. And cost competitive. We definitely watch our spending. We fly the Wanna Get Away fare on Southwest. I guess now they changed their rules, but basically we try to watch our spending. We invest most of our resources in making sure that our people are well paid and that they have the right tools to conduct efficient audits. Otherwise, we try to watch our spending to offer competitive pricing to our clients. So speaking of pricing, if we can go on to the next slide. The pricing is what we propose in our proposal. Almost everything else, unless it's a different project or a special project, is included in our service. And by that mean ongoing routine miscellaneous advisory. We are in touch with our clients throughout the year. Our clients reach out to us whenever they have a question about anything that comes to mind, whether how do I record this transaction, or we're about to issue debt, what should I be looking for, or we have this new grant, how can we set up to make sure our system is set up to comply with all the grant requirements. Presentations to the board and committees of the board, that's always included, doesn't matter how many presentations are needed. Provide flowchart documentation regarding the accounting processes. So we use flowcharts to document your different processes and controls, and we're more than happy to share them with the district if you think this would be of value. Sometimes when you have turnover, it's helpful to have documentation of the processes and how they used to work, so to ensure continuity. Periodic updates to district management on recent development. It is in our best interest for our clients to be well aware of all the new changes that are coming their way, so they are better prepared for it. So we ensure that this happens either through meetings with our clients throughout the year during our debriefing meetings after each phase of the audit, or if there are certain things that requires immediate attention, we would send communication regarding that. And also we host training seminar every year, and it's free for our clients. We discuss all the new updates, the new standards, and we also sometimes set some special training sessions for our clients to get them up to speed on certain specific requirements. And just ongoing communications, making sure that we're always in touch with our clients and that they know where we at in the audit. And if we can go on to the next slide, please. So why you should do business with us? We are a very focused firm. All we do is municipal auditing, and that's what our staff are trained on. This is how our firm functions. That makes us very efficient. We know municipal government. We don't claim to know everything. We look forward to learn from every audit, every client we have, but we know how municipal government function, and that makes us very efficient. But we're also flexible. We do understand that things do come up, that staff turnover is always a challenge that can cause issues with timing, and we try to work with our clients to help them work through those issues and get them back on track. We're very reliable. We deliver what we promise. We always meet our client deadlines, and we encourage you to speak to our clients to ask about their experience. And we're very capable. Again, we've been in this industry for a very long time, and we're very specialized in this industry. So we are very capable and technically strong as it relates to government auditing. With that, I think this concludes my presentation. So I want to thank you again for allowing us the opportunity, and I am happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Badawi. You've touched on a lot of our questions. So when we ask if you can be brief and just emphasize the point you want to emphasize, I'll go first. And again, how would you ensure successful completion of the audit on time, since you do work with a lot of municipalities, local governments?
Sure. Like all firms before me, planning is key, and we do a lot of planning. We also utilize, I mentioned earlier, a project management platform where our clients are also on that platform. And we have an agreement on all the milestones, all the dates, where everyone has visibility for everything that was agreed upon. Not only that we meet with our clients on a regular basis during the audit to give them update, and that they also can see the update or the status on the project management platform, but we internally, the firm, the partners and the managers meet weekly throughout the year to discuss all audits, all timelines, Also, our systems allow us to see where we have capacity, so we are able to allocate resources very efficiently because we always know where exactly do we have capacity. We know where everyone is working, what is their budget, how many hours are assigned to them, how many hours are available. So just those constant meetings, looking at our resources on a regular basis, reallocating resources, being in contact with our clients, and making sure that information is flowing timely so we can meet those timelines. And sometimes if we fall behind or if the client fall behind, we are able to detect that early and then try to catch up in the next phase or the next step to stay on time. So we are usually successful in meeting our client timelines as long as the client met their obligation and provided us the information that we're looking for.
Thank you, Mr. Badawi. Vice Chair?
Thank you. What do you know about the South Coast AQMD's business that will help you successfully complete the audit? And what do you see as the biggest challenge for auditing an air district such as South Coast AQMD?
I mentioned that I have over 25 years of experience. So with other firms, I have worked with the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. With my firm, we are working with the Monterey Bay Air Quality Improvement District. Obviously, we worked with many other municipalities in the past. I would say that the biggest risk is the variety of revenue sources that the district have. Each revenue source normally have compliance requirements attached to it. So really finding out what those compliance requirements are for each of these revenue sources and making sure that they were met, I would say it would be one of the more significant areas for us during the audit. But I also want to say that there are risks and challenges with any audit, regardless of the industry. One of the most common ones we see is staff turnover, where we feel that sometimes when one or two key staff leave, things deteriorate very rapidly. So making sure that there is continuity, there is cross-training, business continuity in place to ensure smooth operation. But I would say that those would be the main challenges, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Senator?
Okay, well, my question relates to all of our different state and federal grants. Do you have any special strategies on how to make sure those audits can be done timely and completely?
Sure. So starting during the interim phase is key. We try to obtain from our clients the listing of the expenditures of federal awards to see if we can determine early on which programs are clear that they will need to be tested during the year. And for those, we get started. We conduct interviews with the program managers to understand the controls and the procedures. And we actually start the compliance work as soon as we can. But we also conduct what we call government auditing standards. So not just the federal grants, we have to make sure that there are no non-compliance issues, period, that can have a direct and material effect on the financial statement. So that can be from state grants as well. So we have to educate ourselves about all the different grants that the district receive and the different compliance requirements. Even if some of them we may not end up testing on the state side, but at least understanding those. And hopefully providing recommendation also to the district on how you can better analyze grants and make sure that your system is set up to comply with those grant requirements.
All right, so I think I got the last question here. You might have answered some of this already, but what do you see as the most significant area of risk for the district? And how do you plan to address that one risk?
I would say that I'm going to focus more on the revenue, the variety of revenue sources. I would say that I see this as the biggest risk from an audit perspective, and relying on confirmations with third party and validation of some of those revenue sources and reviewing the agreement will be one of our biggest focus. But definitely, your pension liability and OPEB liability is always a risk from a dollar amount perspective. Auditing those amounts can be tedious because we have to test the census data that is sent to the pension plan, and that is time consuming, but it's not technically demanding, it's just time consuming. I would say that the revenue and the variety of revenue sources would be our biggest risk.
Thank you.
Just to kind of combine some of these questions, but finally, what do you see as the biggest challenge for auditing an air district such as the South Coast AQMD?
That was the question I asked.
That's you. Oh, you asked that? Okay. Okay. Thanks, Larry. Okay. Well, that concludes. Thank you very much, Mr. Badawi.
Appreciate the
And
opportunity. Thank you.
we got one more.
Yes, Chair, we have one more, and actually, Mr. Jonathan Foster from the audit firm of Davis and Farr is here with us today.
In person.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Appreciate the opportunity to present in person. I will be brief. There's been some great presentations, a lot of similar information to touch upon. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. A little bit about the firm on the next slide. I've taken some excerpts from our proposal. Oh,
We're trying to move the slide, sorry.
that's okay. Well, I can start touching upon it once the slides come up. A little bit about our firm. Currently employs 7 partners, all of which practice in the governmental practice. 100% of our firms do perform and are trained under governmental audits. The next slide is just an excerpt of some of the clients we currently serve. We serve a variety of special districts. So I just wanted to notate that we do, in addition to cities, we audit a variety of special districts. The next slide is our engagement team. I did want to communicate to the committee that we do serve at the pleasure of the board. We have an opportunity to not just report to finance, but to report to the board everything we see. So at the end of the day, one of my mentors always said, call a spade a spade. So as auditors, if we come in and see something, we will be honest and straightforward about it. A little bit about myself. My name is Jonathan Foster. I've been performing local government audits for approximately 19 years now. I would be the partner overseeing the audit engagement and be present in the field during interim, final, and future presentations to the board. We have Jennifer Farr of Davis Farr. She's a CPA and MBA and would serve as a quality control partner. Every engagement has a second partner that reviews all the reports, second set of eyes on all the reports and any complicated audit areas. We have Joyce Amaka. She's a CPA with approximately 8 years of experience, serving local government for the entirety of her career, as well written in audit supervisor April Nin. She would be responsible for the day-to-day interaction with staff out here in the field during interim and final and coordinating all the request list. Lastly, we've also written in Diego Venegas. He is a CISA. We actually have 2 CISA certified information system auditors on staff. He's got approximately 20 years of audit experience, and we were responsible for the IT risk assessment. A little bit about the government finance organizations we are involved in. Myself and Jennifer are very involved in government organizations. We feel it's very important to stay up to date. I myself am the chair and a member of the Cal CPA Government Audit and Accounting Committee, responsible for writing white papers, discussing relevant accounting topics with those both in industry and our practice. The Society for Municipal Finance Officers. I'm currently an instructor for the annual Capital Asset course. I'm also a regular presenter at the annual CSMFO conference, so very involved with CSMFO and all the programs they have. Lastly, Jennifer Farr is a member of the Certificate of Achievement Program Special Review Committee for GFOA. So similar to the other firms, we have a similar timeline where it's very important to have these interim procedures as well as a final audit. I just want to be very specific on some of the items that we tackle during interim so the committee is aware on how we kind of shave the peak at the front of the audit. A lot of reports are available prior to starting final field work. Your pension reports from SB Sarah and Lacera, those are available very early. So as soon as those reports are available, whether in person or in the office, we assign staff to that so they can get started on the audit. Your OPEB actuarial reports, those are generally available very early. So we get started on auditing those numbers at an early phase of the audit. Internal controls, probably the most important part of the audit. That's an area that we'd be out here in person, walking through with your staff, gaining an understanding of your internal controls, and discussing anything at interim that we have questions about. So interim, again, is very important, as all firms have demonstrated, but internal controls, I like to communicate that they are, and I believe, the foundation of the audit. Lastly, I want to touch upon some of the technology and value we offer. Our audit software, which I believe the district is already familiar with, Caseware Cloud. You actually gain specific access to their audit file, to our portal. So our request list, any documents specifically requested, they can see where it is requested and drop it into us. We can also generate reports that ease in their review. For example, when we finish at the tail end of the audit, we'll give them our records, make sure they match up to their records to alleviate any delays in the audit. Data mining, we do have data mining software, so we have the ability to analyze large amounts of data. So if we were to receive a large report from the accounting software, we put that into our software and can perform very specific searches for a variety of tests relating to parts of the audit or even fraud. Electronic confirmations, we do employ electronic confirmations. We communicate directly with the bank. So your checking account, that would be received electronically directly from the bank. And the long-term debt, such as the pension obligation bonds, we would receive that information electronically through confirmation.com. Accounting consultations, this is actually something that I enjoy doing throughout the year. And not just for problems. Many of my clients undergo projects. For example, if they are undergoing a change in their capitalization policy and need assistance in how to do that, that's probably one of the most enjoyable part of my jobs, whether in person or Teams. I love helping clients with their projects and not just problems as they arise. Also, to our clients, we make ourselves available in an annual GASB update where we provide updates to upcoming accounting standards. And also additional regulation that may apply to our clients, such as the new Assembly bill that just came out that
Did something go wrong here with the video or audio?
Yeah, I can't hear anything either.
Sorry?
I lost connection as well.
Okay.
Maybe having auditorium issues. We'll get back to you soon.
We're back up.
Here it says unable to join the meeting on our slide. Should I just take that off?
Fix that.
Maybe they probably retry.
No, this,
Or again, right?
I think it's okay. Maybe okay now. You want to check it? Yeah.
For those online, we're reconnecting on this end.
Perfect. Looks good. Susan, I just want to make sure the senator and supervisor can hear us and are there.
Yes to both.
Great. And supervisor, you're there?
I see his name.
His name?
He might have his camera off.
Supervisor, can you just confirm that you can hear us and you participate?
He's muted.
Who's muted?
But he's there.
Your audio's off. Okay, good there. Thanks, Robert. I think Manny's on, but he's just muted.
We're gonna message him.
Okay, we'll wait another moment.
Supervisor Perez, if you can hear us, can you unmute just to confirm you're there?
Mr. Foster, do you recall the question?
Yes, what would I do to, is everybody back, by the way, I'm assuming? Or
Yeah, we're
just
going to continue. He
Okay,
may join
okay.
in.
What would I do to ensure it stays on budget and
On time.
finished on time? Okay. Well, as I was explaining, every first year engagement generally goes over budget. It'd be unfair to hold you responsible for the administrative responsibilities when we set up that first year. So the hours that get put in here are really my estimate of what I believe coming in starting year two, what would be for an efficient audit. The first year, for example, the amount of time it takes to communicate with the prior auditors, set up the audit file, get historical records for our files. But that's on us about the budget as far as the dollars are concerned. It's a very fair price we put in that budget. On time is more important to us. That's very important. And I know what works and what doesn't work. What I've found is avoiding the wrench at the end of the audit. At the end of the audit, when we do a review and we have different numbers than the client, that is what we want to avoid. That's why transparency is key. So as part of my review is providing the client real-time trial balance, adjusting journal entries, comparing records in real time. Because what can happen at the end of the audit, their records are different than our audited records, and now we have to investigate what happened. So I give my manager the autonomy always to communicate journal entries, either detected by us or proposed by the client, and that constant back and forth, make sure the records provided to us and our audited numbers agree to the ending numbers that finance had prepared.
Good, thank you.
So what do you know about South Coast AQMD's business that will help you successfully complete the audit? And what do you see as the biggest challenge for auditing an air district such as South Coast AQMD?
Yeah. Well, about the business, you serve the basin. I do get your alerts. I have a lot of experience auditing the types of funds that are presented, and that it's very restricted colors of money that you're getting. And that to me is actually one of the biggest risk of the district when auditing the district, because you don't have this unrestricted source of money that comes in and can spend it anyway. So I did review your financial statements, and our responsibilities as auditors is not just to make sure the numbers are accurate, but we have greater responsibility to make sure there's no non-compliance with laws and regulations. And you have these numbers of I call them colors of money, but these restricted funds. A big amount of your equity is restricted. And if you were to spend that incorrectly at essentially the wrong intent for what was awarded to you, you'd get in a lot of trouble for that. So that's going to be the biggest lift for us, is to make sure we understand what those monies are restricted for in each specific fund and test accordingly, so we can be comfortable issuing that report that you are compliant with all the laws and regulations.
Thank you.
I'll ask the next question. So my question relates to all of our diverse state and federal grants. Do you have any special techniques or strategies to making sure those are done completely and on time?
That's a good question. And I wouldn't classify them as special techniques, but I do like to provide education surrounding single audits. Every firm does perform single audits. I'm not sure you're aware, but what we audit is, I just had a committee meeting yesterday where they asked me, how long does it take to audit all the grants? So that's actually a misconception. We don't actually audit all the grants. We audit what are considered major programs, and those generally rotate. So what we do as part of the audit to try to ensure an efficient single audit is, since those programs rotate, we try to figure out what the major program is as early as possible. Now, some clients provide us with an interim CFA, meaning before the year end closes, they already have an understanding of where they're going to spend the money on which grant. And we can decide what the major program is, that specific grant that we're going to test, because we are not required to, nor are we supposed to test every single grant. We have to test for what's called coverage, meaning if you spent $10 million and you're the low risk or not low risk auditee, we're required to test a certain percentage of that grant money. So very, very early on, because those major programs rotate over time, we try to figure out which one will be the major program, whether 1, 2, or 3. So once we can figure that out, we can begin that test work over that major program.
I think I have the last question. The others have gone already, and that's what do you see as the most significant area of risk for the district, and how do you plan to address that risk?
Yeah. So I'm kind of old school in my thought on significant risk. Management override of controls due to fraud. That is probably my biggest risk in the audits. What keeps me up at night is one of us getting in the news for something bad happening. We try to beat up internal controls pretty hard, and by beat up, I shouldn't say to find something wrong. I should say that we get comfortable that they're operating effectively, meaning is there proper segregation of duties? And if there's not proper segregation of duties, is there compensating control? Meaning, are you doing something differently that compensates for that lack of segregation of duties? So internal controls, again, as I mentioned earlier, they are the foundation of the audit. It's very important that each transaction cycle is operating effectively, meaning there's both controls in place that are preventative to prevent fraud or error, and or detective, meaning they can detect a fraud or error in a timely manner. So especially year one, I take that part very seriously, gaining that understanding of your controls, because that will dictate the timing and extent of our test work as part of the overall audit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes our evaluations, interviews. Sujata, I'd like to proceed.
I think, Chair, at this point, you will probably decide like which firm that you want to go with.
Okay, before we make any discussion, let's have a public comment. Any member here at the auditorium want to comment? Or online, Cindy, I see one hand. Is that one hand raised?
Yes, it's Harvey Etter, and I believe he only has 5 seconds left.
Harvey, because of your earlier comments, you've just got 5 seconds, so if you can make it quick, go ahead, Harvey.
Okay. I'd like to know climate change risk. We got end of times, end of capitalism, and reach our ecological limits.
Thank you, Harvey. That concludes public comment. Committee members, any discussion?
Well, we have a scoring from staff, don't we?
We do. There's rankings.
So where do we score it? How does that, how are we doing this?
So in the rankings, it's on in the staff report, page 49, but it's got, the annual audit hours, bid amount 3 years, technical score. Some have not been engaged with South Coast in the last 5 years. Some have. 3 are local firms, one's not. There's a total point and overall ranking.
I thought they all did great. I don't have any reason to not go with staff recommendation at this point.
Which one was that? 'Cause I'm not seeing it in front of me. I'm sorry. Which was that?
Staff really didn't make a recommendation. They just showed an overall ranking from the
I meant there was one that was highest ranked,
Let me
but
take another look. Hang on, let me take another look.
The overall rank had Simpson & Simpson at 1, 2 was LSL LLP, also at 2 was Badawi and Associates, and third overall rank was Davis Farr.
Who
They
was
were
the,
very close.
who was the first one?
That was the first one who spoke, Simpson & Simpson.
They weren't ranked at all?
They were ranked number 1 overall
Yeah,
rank.
I mean, that's by far, I think so too. If that's the recommendation or if that's number 1, I would go with that one as well.
Chair, I just want to clarify, there's no recommendation from staff.
Right.
This is just the ranking that came out because of the varied point distribution.
Got it.
So all very well qualified. It's very, in my mind, it's very close. So
it is very close. It's interesting that Badawi, the amount they bid was significantly less per hour than Simpson.
Well,
they are very close, but
Well, I made up my mind. I'm not sure we're supposed to vote but I'm going to go ahead and go with the very first individual that took the question. If that's Simpson and Simpson, if that's him, that's them, then that's who I support.
Do you want to make a motion or?
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion for that. For Simpson and Simpson, if that's the case.
Okay, the motion by Supervisor Perez. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Senator Delgado. Any more discussion? No more public comment? Roll call, please.
Senator Delgado,
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman, absent. Vice Chair McCallum,
Yes.
Supervisor Perez,
Yes.
and Chair Cacchiotti.
Yes,
Motion passes
thank you.
with the selection of Simpson and Simpson.
Thanks, you were all great. Great job.
Tough choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll return to our agenda, and that was just item number 9. We'll move to item number 10. And Ron, you're up again. Authorized purchase of maintenance and support services for servers and storage devices.
Good morning again. This is a standard annual request for approval for a 1-year maintenance and support agreement with Hewlett Packard Enterprise in an amount not to exceed $190,000. Funding is already included in my budget for the fiscal year 25-26, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, committee? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chair, seconded by Senator Delgado. Is there any public comment? None in the auditorium, any online? Your locations, I see none. Roll call, please, Cindy.
Senator Delgado,
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman, absent. Vice Chair McCallum,
Yes.
Supervisor Perez,
Yes.
Chair Cacchiotti.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thanks, Ron. Item number 11, Jason, welcome, good morning. Appropriate funds. Jason's always coming looking for money. Come on, Jason.
I am. I always say that we're expensive, but we're worth it. So good morning, everyone. Jason Lowe, Deputy Executive Officer, Monitoring Analysis Division. For this item, South Coast AQMD is partnering with communities as an expansion to its pilot sensor library program under a US EPA grant, which is now being extended. These actions are to appropriate around $120,000 in the monitoring analysis budget, execute and amend contracts, and issue solicitations and purchase orders to expand the educational outreach and sensor deployment in these communities. With that, I am happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Great program, Jason. Great expansion. Any public comment here? I'll entertain a motion.
Move the item.
Oh, hold on one second. We have a hand raised. But he's already exceeded.
Yeah, he ran out of time.
He ran out of time. Okay. So motion by Vice Chair. Is there a
Second.
Second by Senator Delgado. Roll call.
Senator Delgado,
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman, absent. Vice Chair McCallum,
Yes.
Supervisor Perez,
Yes.
Chair Cacchiotti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Cindy. Mr. Kraus has been hiding in the background all day. Mr. Kraus, sir.
Come forth. Okay, just a reminder, back in 2024, the California Caltrans, or California Department of Transportation, awarded us a grant to support upgrades to our California emissions estimator model. This is a statewide model that calculates both construction and operational emissions from various land use type projects, along with greenhouse gases, et cetera. Last year, back in 2024, that same year, the board approved us to recognize those funds and agreed that we can go into an agreement with CAPCOA in making that happen. So since then, we have entered into that agreement with CAPCOA. Basically, CAPCOA pays the consultant for those upgrades, and then we pay for them from the monies that we get from Caltrans. So as Susan noted earlier, it's kind of a pass-through situation. But what I'm here to do today is seeking basically what I would consider a procedural approval of allowing us to appropriate some of our general funds into our planning funds, so our planning division can then pay out those invoices. And basically, that's what we're looking for approval.
Any questions for Mr. Kraus? Seeing none. Any public comment here in the auditorium? Where's your locations? Seeing none. I'll entertain a motion.
Move the item.
Moved by Vice Chair.
Second.
Second by Senator Delgado. Roll call, please.
Senator Delgado,
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman absent. Vice Chair McCallum?
Yes.
Supervisor Bettis?
Yes.
Chair Cacchiotti?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Kraus. That was quick. Next is written reports. No written reports, Susan. We'll move on to other matters. Board members, other matters? None? None, Larry? None? Final is public comment. I'm going to reduce the time to 2 minutes because we're going late. So if there's any public comment, items under our authority, please raise your hand if you want to speak. None in the auditorium. Harvey, I see your hand up. Harvey, go ahead, please. You've got 2 minutes. Again, on items within our authority. You're muted.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, Harvey, go ahead.
Okay, I resent having time being cut off. You're purging the public. I am putting a shout out to all folks that want to hear what we've got to say, Public Solar and me, to call in to this committee and other committees and allocate us their time so we can get more time. That's a way around this, okay? Dr. Burke asked us to put in a proposal on trees. There was $1 million that went out to tree people. They did $500,000. They didn't like what they did. He asked me to go for the other half. I'm putting in that proposal now. I made this announcement at the board meeting. There's a 1 trillion tree program as part of climate. We had 3-4 in the world. We wiped out, 1 or 2 of them. So there's another thing to do this, and it's an alternative to carbon capture and sequestration, which we don't know what the hell it is. It doesn't work, and it's a crutch to the fossil fuel industry that they can continue. There's a meeting on the 28th and 29th of April. UN in Brazil supported. It's in Colombia, and it's supported by Netherlands and 20 other countries. It almost blew up by the Saudis opposing this, and at COP28, they want a place at the table. They got a place split under the table. That's the real, okay? We need to bring in alcohol fuels as a bridge until we can get hydrogen and electric and this kind of other stuff. And it's got to be equitably and justly. So they're going to have an equitable transition in Colombia, the 28th and 29th of April. We want to go to that meeting. We did living Christmas trees. We got a living Christmas tree in the White House 55 years ago. Now that information's been purged. Okay,
Mr. Editor, please stick to items within the committee's jurisdiction.
This is within gamut, and I resent being. I'll come in this, not take out of my time. That's friggin' outrageous. Now look, this is the real. We did this. I'm incorporating by reference article.
Thank you, Harvey. That concludes our public comment. And we'll move to item number 15 is just our next meeting is Friday, March 13th at 10 a.m. Supervisor, Senator, thank you so much. Great to see you. Vice Chair, committee, members, staff, have a beautiful weekend.